Did you know that St. Luke's University Health Network, based in the Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, has been recognized by the U.S. government as the highest performing health system in the United States for quality? You heard right. St. Luke's #1 recognition affirms our status as the top leader among the most respected healthcare providers in the nation, including Houston Methodist and the Mayo Clinic. To state it simply, if you want to receive the best care when you go to a hospital, come to St. Luke's.
We're back with the Vice President of News, Lee Harris. He's got the whole station talking, and he's got the whole country, as far as the radio industry, talking, because we're going to do some revolutionary things here. Lee Harris, Vice President of News at WABC. Welcome. How are you?
Pretty good. It's kind of a busy day here because tonight at midnight we launch the Worldwide News Network. And we didn't have a ton of time to put this together, so a lot of last-minute details to attend to. But at midnight tonight, we will take the place of what had been the CBS radio network. That goes out of business tonight at 11:31 p.m. After 99 years. CBS has decided they no longer wish to be in the radio business. That's their prerogative, of course. But we've decided it's a great business, and we will take up where they left off. And we indeed have hired some of the people who were making the news on the CBS radio network, the anchors, some of the reporters and producers, and they're coming to work for us.
Damn. Awesome. What are we going to do for those 29 minutes? 11:31 to midnight. No, I'm only kidding. That's very exciting. Now we're going to call it the Worldwide News Network.
Right, and that is because our boss, our collective boss, John Catsimatidis, has ambitions to spread America's story to the world through the Worldwide News Network, kind of picking up where the Voice of America and Radio Free Europe left off, but not necessarily in a propagandistic manner, but rather, the same way we do talk radio and we do news here. And just you've gone to Europe, I'm sure, on multiple occasions and found that people there sometimes have very odd ideas about what goes on here. And this would be a way to perhaps correct some of those perceptions.
Worldwide News Network. Awesome. So what are we going to call it something for short? Does it have an abbreviation like WWN? Worldwide WWNN?
WW. We do the two W's because it flows better. We'll not say that on the air. That's more for internal comms. We refer to it as WWNN. But if people want to call it that, that's fine.
Okay.
We didn't go with the obvious, which would have been CBS for the CATS broadcasting system, but apparently the lawyers checked that out and that wasn't going to work.
Tell us some of the... Well, first of all, how about you, Lee Harris? You got a voice... I mean, first of all, you're a handsome guy. I don't want to say you have a voice for radio. They usually say that to people who are, like, unattractive. Ha ha ha. You're a very presentable person and you got a great voice. Have you been on radio?
A little bit. Did about 30 years in the morning on 1010 Wins.
A little bit.
People remember me for that. Kind of a blip in my career.
Oh my goodness gracious! You know what? You were. That was you all the time. That was you.
And it was a great job, except for the part where you had to get up at 2:15 in the morning to do it.
You said some interesting things over the years, some beautiful things. And you had kind of interesting observations at the end of a report. Some people do it and they can't pull it off. You pulled it off.
You know what I used to think? I'd get stuck behind garbage trucks trying to get to work, particularly on Bleecker Street. I said, these guys are out there making the city run, and in my own little way, I'm doing the same. And so the idea of contributing to the life of the city was meaningful to me. Now, look, if you're on the police force, it's inarguable that you're doing that. But when you're sitting in front of a microphone, it's not as clear. And yet it occurred to me that that was indeed what I was doing. And I felt better about myself because some days the news was a little silly.
Lee, but did you work in the executive ranks? You strike me very much as an executive, and in a good way. And not all broadcasters are executives. Certainly not all executives are broadcasters. It looks like you're doing both. Do you have a lot of executive experience?
I was a radio station owner and operator, and executive work there included mowing the lawn, which I occasionally did wearing a suit and tie, which weirded people out. But no, I had been in management. In fact, when I went to WINS, I hadn't been on the air in about 10 years, and I kind of faked up a demo tape because I put them on and said, they're not that good. I could get on weekends there. And indeed, I did.
When did you start there?
1993.
And wow, that's really cool. Who are these CBS people, and when are they going to start showing up?
They will be they've been in the building, and they will start showing up tonight at 10 o'clock to get ready for the midnight show. Michael Wallace will be our morning anchor. A guy named Bill Rakoff will do middays. Cooper Lawrence, who you may have crossed paths with at Fox at one time or another.
She's really into dogs, right?
She likes dogs.
Yeah.
She'll be doing nights.
And how will this be executed? What will the experience be like for the listener?
So for the WABC listener in New York, they will hear 3 minutes of national news and then 3 minutes of local news. And I think a lot of the other stations that carry you around the country will do something similar. They could take a fourth minute of news if they'd like as well, another minute at the bottom of the hour. But these are news capsules. We're not doing long form. What we're really doing is setting up shows like yours so that when you come on and talk about the news, people know the stories that you've referred to, the redistricting case, Ebola, etc. We give them the facts, and then you can come on and give your thoughts about whether or not you like Ebola.
Well, I can't believe it. Right now, they're accusing the Trump administration of going a little bit too far when it comes to containing Ebola. He didn't do enough, they say, to contain COVID, but he's going overboard in containing Ebola, which I believe one of the symptoms is bleeding from your eyes. So I think any measure is probably a prudent measure to contain Ebola.
First thing we need to do is prohibit the sale, importation, and ingestion of fruit bats, African fruit bats, because that's the vector for the disease. And I think we've got a pretty good handle on that.
Fruit bats. Okay, that's on the list. What are the other things?
Not to be confused with Fruit Loops.
Do you know the Ebola River? It's named for the Ebola River in Africa. Yes. And the funny thing is, they gave President Trump such a hard time for calling it the China virus. I mean, Lyme disease comes from Connecticut, Lyme, Connecticut. It's just amazing to me how negatively he is portrayed. Everything. But you guys are going to try to play it straight.
We will do that. One thing that we will do, I don't know if you've noticed this, but previously when a president was in office, he got an honorific on second reference. In other words, President Trump in the first reference, Mr. Trump perhaps in the second, the president. And with President Trump, there has been a tendency to just say Trump, which they never did with any other president. So one of our style book rules at the Worldwide News Network is that he is to get an honorific, just like every other president did on all references.
It's interesting. Sometimes I think for some of us, because I will find myself saying Trump, and it's born out of not contempt, certainly. I love the guy, but familiarity, and approachability. Like, he is everywhere all the time. So when someone is everywhere all the time, you do become familiar. And familiarity sometimes brings on informality. And but there are people out there, some broadcasters, who are sticking it to him when they omit that.
Yes, you never heard Obama without an honorific, or Biden, or even Bush usually still got the honorific. It seems to be unique to President Trump. Now, on your program, you're free to refer to him however you wish. This is
the grand, high, exalted, imperial, mystic ruler.
If you want to go that direction, but in the news, we follow certain conventions.
Well, do you think, let me ask you this, some of those conventions could probably be blown up, and I think you're blowing them up in a good way. Like, with Twitter, people expect, you don't have to say, after the break, or, I don't know, sometimes I feel like language is... it confuses more than it illuminates. And sometimes, not here, but other stations, it's overwritten, especially in television. You ever notice that?
Yes. One of the things they like to do is over-explain. When I was taught how to do this for a living, the orders were, assume the listener knows nothing. And, I was early 20s, and I go, yeah, they're all idiots. I've got the teletype. I'm the smart guy. And then I realized very often the listener knew more than I did and certainly made more money than I did. So you have to give them some credit. You don't have to over-explain everything every time. You don't have to go, Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul of New York. You can refer to her as Governor Hochul.
I refer to her as the bucktooth bimbo from Buffalo.
Or that.
And I'm surprised. They may ask me to dial that back, and maybe I'll have to. But right now, it totally fits. It really does. And she just loves power. She loves wearing the jacket. She loves the mansion. You all right? Well, Lee Harris, I am thrilled for you and this position and what we're doing here. So 12 a.m., 12:01. When is the exact time? Because that's history.
Straight up.
12 o'clock.
The witching hour.
Wow. All right. Well, what's going to happen? Is there a jingle? I hear you're really good at the jingles.
There will be a musical introduction, and a man with a very big voice will announce that the news is on.
That sounds like it could be you.
It's not me.
No?
No, we got a professional for that.
Shush. Give me a break. You got the perfect voice for this. You're like the golden voice. Who are you going to use? Not you?
So in showbiz, we call these imaging guys, right? And the trick is for them to talk like this, but to make it sound like that's the way they talk. If you do that or I do that, it sounds like we're exaggerating. When our guy does it, he sounds like he just talks that way.
All right. So who is he?
His name is Jim Merkel.
Where is he?
I don't know.
Wow. I know these guys are kind of mysterious. They do their own thing. All right. So he introduces everything, and then what happens?
Then the news comes on. Like it comes on every day, everywhere, and came on CBS for almost 100 years, but not after 11:31 tonight.
Are they going to say goodbye and they're going to, we don't care. It doesn't matter. There's no coordination between us and them, right?
No, all we've done is import a lot of their soon-to-be former employees who right now are at the broadcast center on West 57th Street in New York holding a wake for the radio network.
Do you remember Christopher Glenn by any chance?
Of course.
He died, didn't he?
He did.
He was an interesting guy. I grew up listening to him. He had that little television snippet in the news. News. Yep. And I was one of those kids. Well, this is exciting. Lee Harris, congratulations. I know this is taking a lot of work and a lot of planning and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but you've done it. And tonight is history at 12 midnight. And thank you.
You'll hear it here. I have to go do a dry run, a rehearsal.
What do you have to rehearse?
Oh,
you know how to read the news?
Some technical stuff.
Technical. Throw in the switch. Well, it's going to be great. And I know these things, we got to make sure no snafus. Good luck tonight. Lee Harris, the Worldwide News Network begins. What is today? What is tomorrow's date? May what?
23rd.
May 23, 2026. Wow. All right. 100 years, hopefully. May it last 100 years plus. Be right back, everybody. Congratulations, Lee.